Hello, Dostoevsky lovers. It's me again, Patrick Bergman, and now it's time for book 9 of the Brothers Karamazov. It's a rather long book, and it goes deep not just into how they do investigations, but very deep into the mind of especially Dmitry, our dear Mitya. I also set up a talk between Immanuel Kant and the prosecutor to see how they view justice. And I also set up an interview and a talk between Dmitry and Josef K from Kafka's book. They are kind of on the same side, so let's dive in.
Book 9 of the Brothers Karamazov, titled The Preliminary Investigation, begins with a quest for truth and justice, yet the truth remains elusive. Layer by layer, the meticulous investigation unravels the details of the sinister circumstances entangling Dmitry Karamazov, but the seeds of redemption also take root in his anguished conscience. Dostoevsky exquisitely portrays the proceedings as both an indictment of human fallibility and the first glimpse of spiritual awakening. We enter a crucible where the enduring questions of guilt, conscience, and the paradoxes of the human condition will be tested under the microscope of law and psychology. But even in the shadows there is light. Even in the turmoil there are glimpses of hope. As the complex drama of sin and salvation, judgment and understanding unfolds, we witness the transformative power of the human spirit. On a silent night, Pyotr Ilyitch seeks to enter Widow Morozov's home, but Fenya, mistaking him for Dmitry, urges caution at the gates. Inside the kitchen, Fenya paints a disturbing picture of Dmitry's return with blood-streaked hands, his shocking claim of committing a murder, and his hurried departure, seemingly driven by thoughts of Grushenka. Weighing his options, Pyotr Ilyitch decides against visiting Fyodor's house at such a late hour, and instead heads towards Madame Koklakov's residence. At Madame Koklakov's, Pyotr Ilyitch delves into the mystery of the 3,000 rubles that Dmitry claimed to have received. Realizing the gravity of the situation, Madame Koklakov writes a note to confirm her stance, and with a protective gesture sends Pyotr Ilyitch off to inform the police commissioner of the unfolding events. When Fenya hears an unexpected knock at night, her fear shows how unpredictable and intense Dmitry can be. He swings between being passionately in love and threatening, making those close to him unsure about him. Fenya's words paint Dmitry as a figure bordering the edge of reason and morality, his actions shrouded in a mist of ambiguity. This display of his bloodied return speaks to the heart of human complexity, raising the timeless question of the nature of our actions under the cloak of night and passion. Madame Koklakov is rumored to be connected to Dmitry's sudden wealth. Pyotr Ilyitch tries to find out if she's involved, questioning whether Dmitry got his money from her or from a darker source. Madame Koklakov mixes real worries with showy displays. She claims to predict disasters, but also shows a softer side, wanting attention. Even in serious moments, she loves drama. Pyotr Ilyich works hard to uncover the mystery using various pieces of information and his own thinking. However, Dostoevsky shows how hard it is to find the truth. Even though Pyotr gathers accurate clues, he still misunderstands the bigger picture, showing the challenge of separating facts from reality. Mikhail Makarovich Makarov, the police commissioner, is a retired lieutenant colonel, a widower, and a decent but not particularly sharp man. Pyotr Ilyitch, anticipating a gathering of officials at the commissioner's house, finds Varvinsky, Ippolit Kirillovich, and others present on the night of Fyodor Pavlovich Karamazov's murder. Alarming discoveries include Smerdyakov in distress, a bloodied Grigory outside, and the lifeless body of Fyodor Pavlovich, with Marfa Ignatievna's screams and others' testimonies recounting the events. The investigation at Fyodor's house uncovers a brass pestle and an envelope intended for Grushenka, containing 3,000 rubles along with a pink ribbon. Concerns about Dmitry potentially ending his own life prompt the dispatch of Deputy Commissioner Shmertsov to Mokroy, while attention also shifts to Smerdyakov's health crisis. Mikhail Makarovich, in his unremarkable wisdom, stands as a testament to the ordinary man burdened with extraordinary responsibilities. His character reflects the dichotomy between societal roles and personal capabilities, underscoring the novel's exploration of authority in the hands of the average individual. The unexpected assembly at the commissioner's home mirrors the unpredictable intertwining of human lives. This convergence on a night marred by tragedy highlights the novel's theme of fate and coincidence, where individual paths cross at critical junctures of history. The gruesome discoveries at the Karamazov estate evoke a somber reflection on the cyclical nature of violence and despair. The past's shadows loom over present events, painting a grim portrait of the inescapable legacy of familial sins and the haunting repetition of history. The found evidence, while seemingly incriminating, dances on the edge of truth and deception. It serves as a metaphor for the often misleading nature of surface appearances and the perilous journey to uncover the underlying reality in a world shrouded in mystery and misconception. The urgency to prevent Dmitry's possible demise and the shift in focus to Smerdyakov's condition reflect the novel's deep contemplation on the fragility of human judgment and decision-making. It underscores the theme of life's precarious balance, where each action and inaction carries profound consequences in the grand tapestry of existence. Dmitry insists on his innocence, while Grushenka dramatically declares herself guilty, mirroring the tumult of emotions and the first torment of Dmitry's soul, as identified by Robin Foyer Miller. Dmitry expresses immense relief upon learning that Grigory, whom he thought he had fatally injured, is alive. Dmitry faces interrogation, with significant evidence from Grigory adding to the complexity of the case. Dmitry admits his desire for his father's death, but denies the murder, revealing the inner conflict and moral ambiguity he faces. The focus on the financial dispute, particularly the 3,000 rubles, underscores Dmitry's internal struggle between material desire and ethical principles. Dmitry's genuine emotional turmoil contrasts with Grushenka's sudden, dramatic display, underscoring the complex layers of human emotion and their manifestation in times of crisis. Dmitry's relief at Grigory's survival provides a brief respite in his journey of torment, highlighting the fleeting nature of guilt and the human capacity for redemption. The interrogation serves as a microcosm of Dmitry's internal struggle, with each question probing deeper into his moral and emotional depths. Dmitry's conflicting emotions towards his father reflect the intricate web of familial love, hatred, and moral dilemmas. The financial dispute brings to the forefront the eternal human conflict between materialistic desires and moral integrity, central to Dmitry's internal battle. Dmitry's attempt to borrow 3,000 rubles from Samsonov, traveling 30 miles out of town, is a desperate bid to regain his lost honor. This endeavor is seen by Robin Foyer Miller as Mitya's second torment, highlighting his struggle for redemption. Dmitry remains elusive about his need for the money and criticizes the authorities' interrogation methods, suggesting they need a new approach. Dmitry recounts feeling hoodwinked by Samsonov, his conflicting emotions for Grushenka, and his despair, even considering violence to obtain the needed funds. When presented with the brass pestle, Dmitry recalls taking it from Fenya's table. His unclear reasons for doing so, possibly to ward off dogs or due to the darkness, add to the investigator's skepticism. Dmitry grows increasingly irritated with the questioning and sarcastically suggests noting his intent to murder his father with the pestle, reflecting the adversarial dynamic in the interrogation. Dmitry's reserve about his journey and need for the money reflects his complex nature, where his strict sense of honor in smaller matters contrasts sharply with the suspicion of patricide. This duality is marked by both an adherence to personal codes and the potential for significant moral failings. Dmitry portrays himself as a victim of others' machinations while simultaneously admitting to violent and greedy impulses, inadvertently undermining his own innocence. His narrative oscillates between self-victimization and self-incrimination. Dmitry's reactions, such as his impulse towards Fenya, highlight class divisions and biases of the era. His treatment of those he considers lower class contributes to perceptions of his guilt. Dmitry's vague explanations about the pestle deepen the mystery and doubt surrounding his actions. The pestle becomes a symbol of the uncertain and often contradictory nature of his testimony. While Dmitry denies the patricide, his internal guilt encompasses more than the murder accusation. It includes his lies, violent tendencies, and the emotional turmoil over Grushenka, reflecting a deeper self-judgment and moral conflict. Dmitry narrates his approach to his father's house, including the moment with the pestle. Although he alleges he attacked his father, this might be influenced by his perception of investigators' expectations. As Robin Foyer Miller points out, the third torment refers to Dmitry's reluctance to reveal the source and amount of his money. Dmitry is shocked when the prosecutor mentions the open garden door, contradicting his memory of it being closed. He elaborates on secret signals known only to him, Fyodor, and Smerdyakov that would cause Fyodor to open said door. The signals, Dmitry reveals, were for Grushenka's arrival. The prosecutor hints at Smerdyakov's potential involvement in the crime. However, Dmitry defends him, citing reasons like Smerdyakov's timid demeanor, health issues, and questioning the motive. Dmitry's visit to Fenya with blood-stained hands is highlighted, which he hadn't realized at the time. He then unveils a suicide note indicating a previous intention to take his life. Authorities mention that Pyotr Ilyich Perkotin had informed them about Dmitry's bloodied hands and his possession of money. The investigators push Dmitry on the origin and quantity of his money, tapping into the essence of the third torment described by Miller. Though Dmitry avoids revealing the details, he's reminded about the 3,000 rubles he spoke of to Pyotr Ilyich. The chapter wraps up with Dmitry's monetary possession being disclosed as 836 rubles and 40 kopecks after a search. Dostoevsky skillfully delves into Dmitry's mind. His claimed attack on his father, adjusted for what he thinks the investigators believe, highlights the blurry line between what seems true and actual reality. Miller's emphasis on the third torment isn't just a plot element, but a deep reflection of Dmitry's internal struggle, and perhaps his strong sense of honor. The uncertainty about the garden door's state adds to the story's complexity and shows how memories can change. Dmitry's strong memory, compared to the official account, emphasizes how memory can create various stories. Hidden signals add more mystery, suggesting secret plans and partnerships. The revealed signals give a look into Dmitry's relationship with Grushenka and also bring Smerdyakov into question. As the prosecutor considers Smerdyakov's involvement, Dmitry's firm defense shows personal feelings and societal views about Smerdyakov, highlighting how perception affects judgment in critical moments. Dmitry's blood-covered hands represent his guilt in his eyes. Not noticing the blood might show his inner turmoil or shock. Knowing he considered suicide makes Dmitry's emotional pain clearer, while Pyotr Ilyitch's discoveries tighten the evidence against him. Dostoevsky goes further into the third torment, weaving Dmitry's money mysteries into the story. Dmitry's careful answers about his money show his inner guilt and the torment he feels. His detailed money account during the questioning teases the readers, making them think deeper about the story's truth. Dmitry is subjected to a thorough examination, uncovering conspicuous bloodstains on his clothes. His tucked-under shirt cuff is notably bloodied, explained as a result of tending to Grigory. Dmitry's position as an officer and his consequent treatment by officials amplifies his indignation. The officials indicate their next steps involve witness testimonies. Dmitry passionately declares his innocence, implying he'd either confess or take drastic actions if guilty. He posits that the true criminal was someone who opened Fyodor's door. Grigory asserts he saw the garden door open, suggesting Dmitry's potential exit. This claim clashes with Dmitry's memory, leading to fervent denials. The appearance of an empty envelope intensifies suspicions, prompting Dmitry to hastily accuse Smerdyakov. Ippolit Kirillovich confronts Dmitry about the already open door, which negates the need for signals. The unresolved matters of the door and the source of Dmitry's money become focal points. Under pressure, Dmitry yields, ready to divulge the money's origins. As Dmitry stands on the verge of a confession, Nikolai Parfenovich implies it could influence his fate. Yet Ippolit Kirillovich subtly limits the conversation, ensuring no promises are openly made. Dmitry's detailed search is not just a routine process, but also represents a loss of his respect. His strong reactions to the accusations show two things: his hurt pride as an officer and his inner guilt about Katerina Ivanovna's money. His quick explanation about Grigory's blood shows a man caught between society's judgment and his own guilt. Despite the loud accusations, Dmitry strongly claims his innocence. He believes the key to the crime is the person who opened the door. However, the evidence the officials gather makes his claims seem weaker in front of a doubtful investigation. Grigory's consistent testimony, linked to his personal relationship with Dmitry, seems very believable. But the discovery of an empty envelope confuses the story, pushing Dmitry to quickly blame Smerdyakov, showing his growing desperation and doubt. Dmitry's story has many contradictions, making it a puzzle for the investigators. The details of a slightly open door and planned signals are confusing. The unresolved issue of the money continues to cause suspicion. As the questioning gets more intense, Dmitry seems close to explaining where the money came from. When Dmitry is about to confess, he finds himself trapped in a mix of hints and hidden meanings. Nikolai Parfenovich offers a chance for a lighter punishment, but Ippolit Kirillovich's timely interference suggests other intentions. It seems the goal might not just be justice, but perhaps personal revenge or career ambitions. Dmitry asserts that the 1,500 rubles he carried, hidden in a rag around his neck, were taken from funds entrusted to him by Katerina Ivanovna. He describes the burden of carrying this money, marked by shame and disgrace. Confronted by Nikolai Parfenovich about recklessly spending 3,000 in Mokroye, Dmitry clarifies that he only spent half. He acknowledges not disclosing his financial misadventures, despite the public gossip about his expenditures. Dmitry expresses remorse, claiming he intended to confess his misdeeds to Katerina Ivanovna and repay her. He clings to the notion that his plan to return the money absolves him from being labeled a thief. Dmitry's greatest distress stems from misusing the money in his amulet, not harming Grigory. Ippolit Kirillovich's probing about why Dmitry didn't ask Katerina for money highlights Dmitry's struggle between pride and desperation. Amidst the intense interrogation, Dmitry remembers discarding the amulet and pleads for Grushenka's innocence. The session reaches a temporary respite, as Nikolai Parfenovich suggests a break for tea before proceeding with witness testimonies. The amulet Dmitry carries, filled with ill-gotten money, symbolizes more than financial wrongdoing. It's a constant reminder of his betrayal of Katerina Ivanovna's trust, embodying his guilt and the honor he feels he's compromised. Dmitry's tendency to exaggerate serves as a shield for his vulnerabilities, ironically leading to his downfall. The disparity between his public facade and private actions showcases the human inclination to conceal truth and shame behind pride. More than societal judgment, Dmitry grapples internally with guilt over his actions. His moral conflict, particularly regarding his honor and loyalty to Katerina Ivanovna and Grigory, weighs heavier than accusations of theft. Dmitry's trial reveals a contrast between societal definitions of right and wrong and his personal code of honor. While society seeks a straightforward resolution, Dmitry's struggle involves reconciling his emotional betrayals, highlighting the complexity of personal morality versus societal norms. Dmitry, under interrogation pressure, remains focused on protecting Grushenka. His unwavering commitment to her, even in trying times, underscores his true character and suggests that genuine honor manifests in challenging situations. Trifon Borisik asserts that Dmitry flaunted 3,000 rubles in Mokroya, a claim Dmitry ambiguously denies. This testimony is reinforced by bystanders, adding credibility to the assertion. Pyotr Fomich Kalganov reveals insights into Dmitry's relationships, especially the deceptive Pani and their card game schemes. Notably, Dmitry's relationship with Grushenka improved significantly after the Pani were expelled. The Pani, including Pan Musialovich, portray Dmitry negatively, highlighting his bribery attempts. However, Ippolit Kirillovich spots a potential defense for Dmitry, suggesting that the 800 rubles found might not represent all his funds. Maximov's claim of seeing Dmitry with an improbable 20,000 rubles draws skepticism. Tension escalates with Grushenka's entrance, risking Dmitry's composure. Grushenka confirms Dmitry often mentioned the contentious sum, tracing it back to Katerina Ivanovna. She also divulges Dmitry's threats against his father made in anger, but stands by his character and denies any theft from Katerina. Trifon's testimony reflects the impact of personal biases on memory. His possible resentment towards Dmitry, fueled by class differences or disruptive behavior, highlights how personal sentiments can color recollections, questioning their reliability. The changing figures of the money, 3, 6, 10,000 rubles, illustrate how stories morph in society's collective memory. This phenomenon, a mix of exaggeration and myth-making, presents a challenge in judicial proceedings to separate fact from embellished narratives. The Polish officer's eagerness to discredit Dmitry may stem from personal grudges and broader socio-political animosities. Their accounts, potentially biased, reflect the complex interplay of personal and societal prejudices. Maximov's overstated claim indicates how desires and past experiences can distort reality. His vulnerability to imagining vast wealth demonstrates the influence of personal aspirations and histories on perception. Grushenka emerges as a complex figure, seen both as a seductress and a credible witness. Her straightforward testimony contrasts with her perceived role, underscoring the multifaceted nature of individuals beyond simple categorizations. Nikolai Parfenovich presents The Resolution, detailing the charges against Dmitry. Despite Dmitry's pleas of innocence, the evidence heavily indicates his guilt. However, Nikolai emphasizes that the investigation will proceed further in town. Before his detainment, Dmitry seeks out Grushenka, apologizing for the harm his love has caused her. He appears to hold back additional sentiments, choosing instead to exit without further words. Dmitry, while boarding the cart for jail, addresses everyone present. Though he attempts to bid farewell to Trifon Borisik and Mavriki Mavrikyevich, his gestures are met with silence and rebuke, respectively. Pyotr Fomich Kalganov is the sole individual to reciprocate Dmitry's farewell. Distraught by the situation and seemingly convinced of Dmitry's guilt, Kalganov is deeply affected, questioning his very existence in such a world. The resolution presented by Nikolai Parfenovich heavily implicates Dmitry, casting a shadow of guilt over him. Despite Dmitry's insistence on innocence, the evidence is formidable. Yet Nikolai's remark about the ongoing investigation suggests that the quest for justice isn't over. Dmitry's farewell to Grushenka is a mix of regret and love, marked by unexpressed emotions. His attempt at seeking forgiveness underscores his struggle to fully convey his feelings, leaving much unsaid. Dmitry's departure highlights the impact of societal norms and judgments. His effort to bid farewell, met with mixed reactions like Trifon Borisich's coldness and Mavriky Mavrikyevich's snub, underscores the societal constraints influencing interpersonal dynamics. Amidst prevailing skepticism, Pyotr Fomich Kalganov's empathetic response to Dmitry's plight stands out as a beacon of genuine compassion. Kalganov's emotional engagement reflects on broader themes of morality and justice in the face of life's complexities. In life's dim corridors, where the murk of crime meets the light of morality, we stand at a pivotal crossroads. Joining us is the investigator from the enigmatic Karamazov case, a figure caught in the web of truth's many shades. To guide us through this complex interplay of justice and duty, we welcome the esteemed philosopher Immanuel Kant, a beacon in the fog of ethical quandaries.
Mr. Kant, I find myself lost in a maze of conflicting truths within this case. Every turn reveals a new, conflicting perspective, and the clamour for justice from the public only adds to the chaos. How does one navigate such murky waters?
Justice, much like the moral law, follows not the winding paths of circumstance, but the straight course of duty. In your pursuit, consider not the whims of the moment, but the enduring dictates of duty.
That's a daunting task. When evidence leads me in circles and public scrutiny intensifies, it feels like an impossible balancing act. How does one remain steadfast in such a storm?
Your challenge, though daunting, is a testament to the human condition. In each decision, ask yourself, would I will my choice to become a universal law? This is the essence of moral action, an action dictated not by desire, but by duty.
So, you're suggesting I find solace in universality, in ensuring that my every action resonates with a greater ethical good.
Cast aside the transient clamor of circumstance. Let your guide be duty, the only true compass. For in duty, we find actions that resonate beyond our immediate realm, touching upon the universal.
Such an approach seems almost pure, untouched by the grime of this case.
It's a beacon, investigator. And in its light, the dance of justice becomes an elegant waltz of duty, transcending the cacophony around.
We've traversed from the shadowed depths of criminal investigation to the luminous realms of justice and duty. A truly enlightening discourse. May our investigator find his path in this rhythm of truth and duty, and may we all be guided by the universal melody of ethical responsibility. Having delved into the dance of justice with the insights of Immanuel Kant, let us now shift our focus to two literary figures trapped in their own unique quagmires of judgment and personal angst. Ladies and gentlemen, we present Dmitry Karamazov entangled in familial discord and legal tribulations, and Josef K, Kafka's protagonist from The Trial, ensnared by a faceless legal system for an undisclosed crime. Both characters embody the human struggle against existential dread and the fight against inscrutable forces. Let's explore their stories.
Throughout my ordeal, I've felt judged not only by the courts but also by my own kin, particularly my father. It's a constant inner struggle, this war of passions within. But Joseph, your plight haunts me. To be indicted without reason, how does one even begin to combat such absurdity?
Dmitry, it's like wandering through an endless labyrinth. The more I sought clarity, the more entangled I became in this bureaucratic nightmare. Your battles, though, with their fervent intensity and ethical conundrums, are no less daunting.
Indeed, our circumstances differ. Mine arise from familial bonds and internal demons. Yet, isn't it ironic? You face an impersonal external system. I confront a deeply personal one.
In our respective narratives, the core question persists. What constitutes justice? How does one navigate a world where its very definition seems to morph incessantly?
Both stories indeed straddle the precarious line between judgment and bias, justice and retribution. In these adversities, do you find solace, perhaps in knowing others endure similar tribulations?
It's a meager consolation, yet knowing there are others, like Joseph, traversing their own mazes, it does bring a semblance of kinship.
Indeed. It's a faint glimmer of light in an otherwise dark odyssey.
Thank you both for sharing your insights. To our audience, these stories, though from different eras and authors, resonate with timeless, universal themes. Katerina paced her lavish chambers, her silk dress swishing with each step. She brooded over Grushenka winning Dmitry's affection, despite Katerina's superior wealth and status. Fury and betrayal consumed her as she recalled Dmitry's infidelity after she had lifted him from poverty with the promise of marriage. Yet beneath her anger lay a persistent, unwanted affection for him. Ivan's arrival interrupted her thoughts. His concern was evident, and Katerina longed to confide in him, but pride held her back. The trial will soon seal Dmitry's fate, Ivan informed her, sensing her inner conflict. Let him face the consequences, Katerina replied, masking her heartache with a veneer of indifference. She turned away, hiding her tears and the lingering hope for Dmitry's redemption. Gazing at her reflection, Katerina pondered her struggle with pride and unspoken love, trapped by fear and societal expectations. Pyotr Pakotin, working in his pawn shop, was startled by the bell, as Dmitry Karamazov, disheveled and blood-stained, barged in demanding his pawned pistols. Pakotin, recalling he had lent Dmitry money against these weapons, felt uneasy about the urgency of the request. As he handed over the pistols, Pakotin asked if Dmitry was in trouble, to which Dmitry responded abruptly and left hastily. Pakotin, troubled and suspecting wrongdoing, later discovered Fyodor Pavlovitch's murder. Torn between his conscience and the fear of wrongful accusation, he decided to inform the authorities, though he remained uneasy about potentially misjudging Dmitry's actions. Pakotin reflected on the challenges of discerning truth in a deceptive world, resigning to let justice take its course. Emerging from the probing investigation of Book 9, certainties remain veiled in shadows, yet revelations silently emerge. Details of sinister secrets and violent passions have condemned Dmitry in the court of human justice, but his unconventional joy hints at the stirring of redemption in the depths of a weary soul. For even as the indictment of past sins proceeds, the yearning for absolution takes root. The final judgment awaits, but the heart now knows that often things are not as they first appear. As Dostoevsky illuminates the paradoxes of justice, faith, and the human spirit, we move forward through uncertainty, with the hope of redemption waiting silently within. Nietzsche's theory helps analyze Dmitry's moral conflicts in the Brothers Karamazov. Dmitry displays master morality with his pursuit of desires and defiance of norms, and slave morality through self-doubt and societal conformity, revealing his complex nature. Dmitry's denial of guilt and battle against fate in Book 9 resonates with Camus' concept of revolt against an indifferent universe, reflecting an individual's fight against existential absurdity. Dmitry's actions in Book 9 exemplify Sartre's idea that individuals create their essence through choices and experiences, highlighting existentialist themes of personal responsibility. Dmitry's journey in Book 9 illustrates Heidegger's concepts of thrownness and facticity, showing how one's authentic existence is shaped by confronting personal realities and chaos. Book 9's portrayal of characters like Grushenka in relation to Dmitry offers insight into Beauvoir's critique of women's roles, highlighting societal impacts on female identities. Dmitry's resilience and hope amidst adversity reflect Kierkegaard's Night of Faith, embodying the belief in personal faith as a means to overcome existential challenges. Now let us interpret Book 9 of the Brothers Karamazov through the lens of John Vervaeke's Awakening from the Meaning Crisis. In Book 9, Dmitry's personal struggles are intertwined with the societal norms of his era, leading him to a precipice of personal crisis. The external pressures of society, combined with Dmitry's own perennial issues such as jealousy and obsession, paint a vivid picture of a man in turmoil, shaped by both historical forces and enduring personal challenges. Dmitry's intense pursuit of Grushenka and his fervent need for money are emblematic of his search for meaning and connectedness in life. These desires, especially for Grushenka and the symbolic value of the 3,000 rubles, become tangible markers of his quest for purpose. Yet as his narrative unfolds, we witness how societal forces challenge the validity of such pursuits, leading to more problems than resolutions. Through Dmitry's choices and their repercussions, Book 9 encapsulates three distinct realities: the physical, represented by Dmitry's biological reactions like agitation; the societal, marked by the norms and values he often neglects; and the personal, shown through his individual narrative, which dictates his perceptions and decisions. Together, they provide a holistic lens into the determinants of Dmitry's behavior. Dmitry's story in Book 9 is a showcase of cognition's multifaceted nature. His internal emotional turmoil exemplifies embodied cognition. His interplay with societal norms and individuals highlights embedded cognition. The choices he makes, particularly with Grushenka and in his monetary pursuits, demonstrate inactive cognition. And the external societal influences that shape his decisions point to extended cognition. Dmitry's emotional journey, filled with upheavals and aggressive tendencies, can be interpreted as emergent attributes of his unique character and circumstances. His emotionally charged decisions, especially concerning Grushenka and his financial pursuits, echo his quest for a sense of excellence, even if misdirected and destructive in nature. Dmitry's narrative, especially his maladaptive strategies in seeking happiness through Grushenka and money, can be analyzed from a positive psychology standpoint. While his efforts underscore a human need for meaning and transcendence, they also reveal the pitfalls of not having the right cognitive tools or wisdom to effectively navigate life's intricacies.
There you go. Congratulations for finishing Book 9. The next book is a bit different, because now we have had a high-paced pursuit of truth and justice. The next book, 10, is about schoolboys and Alyosha again. But important subjects and themes are at the bottom of that as well, as we will see. But the tone is very different. See you there.